I'm proud of what we're doing here.
You're gonna miss me so much when this is all over.
All hell's breaking loose here.
We have some unfinished business.
Congratulations, first of all, on a fantastic film. I think obviously one of the questions that the film really does ask is what the world would be like without art and creativity in it. And I'm curious, this is a question for all of the panel, but perhaps starting with Bill, what you imagine your life would have been like had you not discovered art and creativity, and if there's a specific moment in your lives you can pinpoint where art really has mattered to you and made a difference for you.
Well, I think it would be back when I started acting in Chicago. I wasn't very good, and I remember my first experience on the stage. I was so bad I just walked out on the street and started walking. And I walked for a couple of hours, and I realized I'd walked the wrong direction. Not just the wrong direction in terms of where I live, but the wrong direction in terms of a desire to stay alive. And so this may be a little bit not completely true, but it's pretty true that I walked. I then thought, well, if I'm going to die where I am, I may as well just go over towards the lake, and maybe I'll float for a while after I'm dead. So I walked over towards the lake, and as I got there, I realized I'd hit Michigan Avenue, and I thought, well, Michigan Avenue, that runs north too, and so I started walking north, and I ended up in front of the Art Institute of Chicago. And I just walked inside, and I didn't feel like I had any place being there, and they used to ask you for a donation, you know, when you walk into a museum, and I just walked right through because I was ready to die, and pretty much dead, and I walked in, and there's a painting there, and I don't even know who painted it, but I think it's called the Song of the Lark, and it's a woman working in a field, and there's a sunrise behind her, and I've always loved this painting, and I saw it that day, and I just thought, well, look, there's a girl who doesn't have a whole lot of prospects, but the sun's coming up anyway, and she's got another chance at it. So I think that gave me some sort of feeling that I too am a person and get another chance every day the sun comes up.
I don't know if anyone can top that, but can we quickly go along the rest of the panel?
I can't top that.
You can't top that. John, a moment when you realized...
I don't wish to embarrass Bill at this point.
George.
I was going to tell the same story, so I'm really...
Matt,
No way.
No way.
No.
Bob.
Well, I had an interesting experience, but it wasn't as interesting as your experience, Bill. But a friend of ours was married to an art dealer, and I wasn't quite sure what he did, and they invited us over for dinner one night. We're sitting at a table, kind of a long, skinny table, in a very simple square room in a beautiful townhouse, and it turned out he was Mark Rothko's dealer, and there were 8 Rothkos, giant. It was a pretty big room. 2 over here, 2 there, 2 behind us. We couldn't eat. And it's interesting because I've always struggled with certain kinds of abstract art. I mean, it took me a while to understand what I didn't understand about it. And some of it you can't describe in words. Just being in the room with those paintings, the power really was, I mean, I was so glad because I hadn't responded much before to things that I didn't understand. And I can't say the words, but to be with those paintings in that room was a really massive personal experience, and I can't explain why. It was in there, and it was coming out at us. Well, we couldn't eat. I mean, it was a terrible dinner, actually.
Dimitri, have you a piece of art that's...
I think I'll just be reiterating what these two have said so well, so I'm going to pass.
Okay, and Jean, a moment when art meant so much to you.
I agree.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that's where we're going to have to wrap it today. Would you show some kindness to our lovely guests today?
Thank you.